All right, well, welcome. My name is Troy Vallejos with Energy Products Distribution. We are 3M's authorized window film distributor for New York and beyond. I'm joined today by TriState Sun Control of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, Paul Iskian and Tom Heigl. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Troy.
So today we're going to cover how to avoid Local Law 97 penalties by improving building energy efficiency with 3M window film. Also, you're welcome to send forward any questions that you may have, and we will look to answer those at the end. So thank you in advance. So what I want to cover today with you is solar control window film basics. Obviously, with Local Law 97 happening, the idea that we can help secure the building envelope and make it more efficient will really contribute to helping you reduce carbon emissions, certainly in large buildings in New York City. So we're going to review energy savings, tenant comfort, carbon emission reduction. We'll review the warranty and care for the product. And then, as I indicated, we will answer any questions that you may have. So I want to start off by first stating that, windows are inefficient. If you look at some of these statistics, for example, according to the Department of Energy, the energy used to offset unwanted heat losses and gains through windows in residential and commercial buildings cost the United States $20 billion, 25% of all the energy used. And then the other things that stand out, according to the DOE, windows are responsible for as much as 30% of the total cooling load in commercial buildings. So what if we could make these windows more efficient? And what impact that could have in helping reduce carbon emissions. So 3M window film can reduce those inefficiencies. What I'd like you to do is think of it as adding an additional pane of glass to your windows by simply adding the film. So the window film can reduce the window's solar heat gain coefficient, thus decreasing temperature in the summer. And then in the winter, okay, it reduces the window's U value, all right, thus keeping the heat inside. This is a fraction of the cost of window replacement. You won't have any change in the building's appearance, no tenant disruption, no structural load implications, and nothing to the landfill, okay? So how does the film work? So essentially what we do is we typically apply the window film on the interior pane of the glass. While we do have exterior film applications, the majority of the work that we do is on the inside of the glass. So again, think of it in the summer season, film increases the energy that's reflected and absorbed by the glass, thus decreasing what is transmitted. So we're working in the summer to keep the heat out. Conversely, in the winter, we're working to help you keep the heat in. So essentially, this is working all year round to help you reduce carbon emissions, okay? So I'm sure if you just travel around the city, you're starting to see the energy benchmarking that's going on with different grades on buildings' energy efficiency, okay? And when you see grades like this, we can really help you out, all right? So I want to have you take a look at this video.
New York City has pledged to reduce its energy use and greenhouse gas emission by 30% by the year 2030. Energy-efficient buildings are the most important part of this plan, and one of the most successful ways for building owners and property managers to upgrade their buildings is through utility rebates, such as the Con Edison Commercial and Industrial Energy Efficiency Rebate Program. Con Edison's program can help drive down the overall cost of the energy efficiency projects to make projects more cost-effective for local businesses. We have completed a number of large window film projects in the last 2 years, and we are very excited about the energy savings that resulted from these projects. In fact, over 1 million kilowatt hours off the grid to date. We have utilized the Window Film Industry Standard Program, eFilm, to calculate the effect of window film on buildings in New York City, and in a few projects we saw savings of as much as 10% of the total electricity usage of the building.
So hopefully that gives you an indication of what impact we can have on all these large buildings. So I just want to give you a brief history of window film. The original patent was in 1966 for sun control film. And basically, over the last 50 years, you can see we've evolved from heavily reflective films to films that are virtually clear and undetectable, okay? So the technology has really advanced. So again, it just depends on the situation that you have, but we're happy to take a look at any of the buildings that you may be looking to reduce carbon emissions or make certainly the envelope more efficient. And we can offer up different opportunities to see different types of film technologies, okay? We also want to stress that the majority of the projects that we do, we are installing the film on the interior of the glass, as I indicated earlier, okay? So the film comes in different widths, 40 inches, 50 inches, 60, 72-inch widths. And what we'll do is we'll select the film width that's closest to the window size, we'll cut it out, we apply a slip solution on the glass, and then we'll look to apply the film on the interior glass. So it's minimally disruptive. All we need is 3 feet of access to the glass. Now, that being said, if there is a situation where we can't get to the interior of the glass, we can look into getting to it from the outside, as we do have exterior films. So whether it's skylights that we can get to from a lift, or we can get to the outside windows from the rooftop, we will look to do that as well. So we can handle any project, whether it's interior or exterior. So certainly there are many advantages of window film versus replacing windows, okay? First of all, it's the cost, as much as 7 times less expensive. And as I indicated, it's much less disruptive. No glass or frames are sent to the landfill. The film can reject up to 99.9% UV rays. And select films have up to 97% infrared heat rejection. In addition, because of these newer technologies being less reflective and they won't change the aesthetic of the glass, they'll work very well for historic landmark buildings. So for those historic buildings that obviously are probably using single pane glass, we can literally turn the single pane into a double pane and not change the aesthetic. So I just want to show you how the films are made up. This is the metallized sun control film. So all of the films have a pressure sensitive adhesive on them that actually hits the glass first. And then in this makeup of this technology, it has clear polyester, and then what's doing the work is the metallic coating. That's doing the absorbing and the reflecting of the heat and the energy, okay? And then lastly, you have the tough abrasion resistant coating. I mean, these films are durable. They're designed for people to put their hands on them, okay? And these films look typically like this. You'll see the reflectivity in them, okay? On the non-metallized sun control films, these are the latest technologies. As I indicated, these films are virtually clear. They're nanotechnologies. They're micro layers of polyester. There's no metal in them. And what's happening is the light can actually get through the film, but the heat gets stuck in the layers, okay? So that's why, again, this is a minimally reflective film. It's the film that will not change the aesthetic. You'll have essentially the same look on the glass that you have now, but you're going to get increased energy performance by adding the film to the glass, okay? Now, as far as the energy savings go, because we need to understand what is the payback, right? So the Department of Energy has done studies, and they've identified window film as a top tier technology, okay? Has the maximum probability of success and a maximum cost effectiveness rating, okay? Typically, paybacks can range between 3 to 8 years, okay? It just depends on the conditions, the environment that we're going into. Certainly with New York City having so much single pane glass, we can really impact the efficiency of those windows by simply adding the film. But we're happy to model any building for you. So we use eFilm energy analysis simulation software, okay? So we can actually take a look at the current environment and determine with different film types what the payback could be. So what is the payback? What is the carbon emission projection? We can do that for you with the modeling, and we're happy to do that. We do it every day. So if you have a project in mind that you're considering and that window film could help you, please let us know, and we're happy to model and help you with that building to turn to determine how the film would help you. So I want to share this case study. This is a project we did at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Clearly, you can see by the design of the building, the pyramid shape, they were getting a ton of heat gain here, and it became uncomfortable for all the guests. They received a lot of complaints. So they called us up and we went out, and here's the result.
Here at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio, we have an iconic, one-of-a-kind building. When you think about a building such as ours with a glass pyramid out front and 1,500 panes of glass, it's much like sitting in a car in the summertime with the windows rolled up but on steroids. It can get pretty uncomfortable in here. One of the things that this window film will do for us is significantly reduce the sun glare, and we've already seen a dramatic improvement. We're able to much better regulate the temperature levels, and we expect we're going to reduce our energy costs by anywhere from about 8 to 12%. And in addition to that, it's going to reduce the load and the heat in the building, which is going to mean that our HVAC systems will have a longer life, and that'll also correspond to a direct financial return for us on this investment.
So hopefully that gave you an indication of the impact that we can have on a building, any building for that matter. I also wanted you to know that these films can qualify for LEED credits. So if you have a project that is going for LEED certification, having the film installed can help you achieve LEED credits. So in sustainable sites, energy and atmosphere, material resources, environmental quality, and innovation and design are all opportunities to achieve LEED credits. And then as far as the savings goes, you could look at these numbers, and again, every project's different, but these are pretty good numbers to bank on. You're looking at 2 to 10% of the total energy bill. And the film itself can become carbon negative in as short a period as 6 months. And as it relates to Local Law 97, I think these are the takeaways for you. You can reduce utilities by up to 10%, reduce temperatures by up to 16 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to show you a comparison where we modeled an office that had the film on it versus an office next to it that did not. You can earn up to the 11 LEED credits, and you can improve your Energy Star Portfolio Manager score. So I really quickly want to cover the comfort piece of this. So in this example, if you notice here, you see all these blinds are down. Okay, and if you look around New York City, and as I've done, and taken an aerial shot of it to see different buildings and different orientations on where they may be impacted, you'll see throughout the city blinds down on certain sides of the building. So that'll indicate there's clearly a glare problem or a heat problem or both. But notice on this side of the building, you see the blinds are not down, okay? So they're fine. Well, what can happen here is as they turn down the air conditioning here, on the other side of the building, they're gonna get cold, right? And that's where the complaints start. Well, we can come in specifically and look at these problem areas and just identify those and look to put the film on those problem areas. It just depends on what the situation is, okay? But we certainly can help you reduce temperature imbalance, improve HVAC system management, and certainly get less complaints from tenants. So here's where we hung temperature loggers and compared an office that had this new technology in it. It's called Prestige. That's the virtually clear technology. And we hung temperature loggers and measured the temperature in the office right next to it. And the office that had the film was 8 to 9 degrees cooler compared to the office next to it that did not have the film. So that's the impact here on these windows. Okay, and if you think about just your thermostat at home, 1 or 2 degrees and what that means, what could this mean to the bottom line and certainly to reducing carbon emissions? And then certainly glare reduces occupant comfort. Many folks have great views of the city, and now if their blinds are down, they're not seeing those beautiful views, okay? Blinds and drapes are typically the most common way folks manage glare, but of course they're taking away the natural light, which actually could be helpful in not having to use artificial lighting, okay? So that's where the window film can really come in handy. And you can see this is some of the solutions that people have literally come up with. Okay, so we can help you there. So in this example here, this is before the film. You can see the patchwork here looks like that quilt, some blinds up, blinds down. where after the window film, it really improved the aesthetic of the building. And in case you weren't sure, this was the United Nations. The other thing I would add is that the window film, while reducing glare, can maintain a natural view and actually increase the sharpness of the visibility. So when you look at here left and compare it to this here with the film, you get much better optics. And certainly reducing in glare leads to less eye strain, better productivity, and higher comfort. Paul?
So thanks, Troy. This is a building that we're currently working on, New York Life Building in Lower East Side of Manhattan. It's a historic landmark building. And they are in the process of restoring the window frame. So they have an outside waterproofing company coming in. They're actually removing the window frames, restoring them, rebuilding them, because again, they are historic. And once they reinstall them, we come in and we install 3M climate control film, and it's single pane glass. And that film helps keep the building cooler in the summer, and it helps keep it warmer in the winter, and while maintaining the historic feel and effect of the old time, I guess they're copper or brass window frames. This is another job that we did out on Long Island. They had a terrible heat problem. One side of the building was much cooler than this side of the building facing south. And we went in and put 3M prestige film to help reduce the temperature inside that lobby. And, they've reported back to us that, it's almost anywhere between 8 and 12 degrees, depending on the intensity of the sun. And the building is much, much cooler. The people who sit in the lobby area can enjoy it now, whereas before they had to sit at the other end of the building looking out the opposite direction, because if they were sitting on the side that you're viewing, they were completely blinded by the sun. And this is an upcoming project we have in Morristown, New Jersey, where the south side facing side of the building is really getting abused by sun and heat and glare. So next week we start on this job. We're removing old window film, probably 15, 20-year-old metallized film. And we're coming in with a low E35 3M product that's going to greatly reduce the heat buildup and also reduce glare and sun problems that they're experiencing. Because as Troy just mentioned, tenants in the building all day have to keep their shades down. They have a great view, and you want to be in your office and enjoying it. But because of the glare, they can't enjoy it. So the building owner, wants to make his building as comfortable as possible, because it's a heck of a lot cheaper to keep a tenant than it is to try to get a new tenant, especially what's going on with COVID and working from home and things like that. So A-class properties are trying to, maintain their A status. Bs are trying to get to As. Cs are trying to get to Bs. And, everyone's trying to keep tenants happy, because they do have a lot of choices nowadays. And window film, not only with the LL97 compliance, but window film is also keeping tenants happy and keeping them as tenants.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. And just to reemphasize what Paul mentioned on the climate control Thinsulate 75 product, as we touched on earlier, that's a film that can turn a single pane into a double pane in terms of its performance. A double pane can become a triple pane in terms of its performance by adding that film. So that's why we're doing more of that film, certainly in New York City, as I indicated with the single pane glass. It's just a game changer. So we just want to cover the warranty with you. You're looking at the warranty is between 3M company and the end user, okay? And then depending on technology selected, it can be up to 15-year warranty for labor and material, and no monetary limits for film replacement. And then as far as care and maintenance goes, as I indicated, these films are made to last. They are made to have people put their hands on them. They are situated in high touch areas like lobby doors, retail storefronts, airport glass. They literally are designed for people to put their hands on them all day long. That said, you can use ammonia-based cleaning products on them. So however the windows are currently getting cleaned, that can continue. So again, very low maintenance. We'd encourage the use of synthetic sponges and soft cloths. You can use a soft squeegee. We would not encourage use of a bristle brush, but we wouldn't encourage that on glass either. So again, what's important to note here, once these films are installed by TriState, they go to work for you. You don't have to worry about people turning them on or turning them off. They literally go to work the minute they're applied. And so we wanted to let you know how we can help you. We are available for product demonstrations. Paul's company, TriState, does sample installations. As I indicated earlier, we can assist you with modeling. We can calculate changes in glass specs. We can even help you with rebate applications and even with the PACE funding program, okay? And then Tom Heigl, I know, has said for any building greater than 10,000 square feet, you can receive a complimentary energy audit. Just contact Tom. His information is right there. Tom, is that the right, everything's right there for you, correct? All right, so furthermore, just to summarize, increase efficiency of the existing windows. So again, taking existing windows that you have now and simply adding the film to make them higher performing. You have a 12-month utility savings of heating and cooling with this climate control Thinsulate 75 product. We can help you reduce your carbon footprint. We can help you achieve local law 97 compliance, no change to the building's appearance. And as I indicated, PACE funding is available and a 15-year warranty. So those are kind of your takeaways from everything you saw today. And then of course, we'd like to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time. Tom Heigl's contact information is there, right there. If you'd like us to be available for a meeting, a sample, or a site survey. So again, any of the products that we shared today, if you'd like to receive a sample of any of those products, please let us know. We're happy to take care of you. And then I'd like to take a look at some of the questions, Paul.
Yeah, there was a couple of, as you were going through it, Troy, there was a couple of pretty good questions that came in. So maybe you could take a look and address those.
Okay.
I've got them summarized if you want, Troy.
Sure.
Okay, the first question was availability of the presentation.
Yes, we will make that available.
And then a very interesting question came in about church stained glass windows and our applicability in those environments.
We'd have to look at that, right, Paul? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that would necessitate a site survey. If you reach out to Tom, Tom could set that up and we could get someone out to take a look, discuss the project. Many times sending us pictures would be helpful. So when you make contact with Tom, if you have some pictures available, he can forward it to our technical group and we can take a look at it and get back with some hopefully reasonable answers.
Yeah, and then Tom, I see a question came up here, Paul, related to a film that would be cost effective enough to install on window inserts. What is your feeling on that, Paul?
That's a perfect example where we'd have to probably get some more details, may require a site visit or some pictures and maybe some information on the inserts and what they're using. Is it kind of like a storm window that could be removed in the summer and put back in the winter? So if we had some of that information, we could certainly, answer that question. And, many times we're not going to be able to answer it right away. But generally with, a phone call or two, we could probably get to some answer that might be workable.
Okay. And then there were some questions related to the UV, which we can certainly furnish you. So we will get you that information on the UV. As far as the furniture, the window film has 99.9% UV reduction. So 40% of the cause of fading is the UV light. And the other 60% is essentially made up of the visible light and the heat. Okay, so by just applying these films to those windows where you're concerned about potential fading on furnishings, you're going to slow down fading by 40% once the film is installed. However, depending on which film you select, if you're taking a little light out of it, out of the window or out of the sunlight coming in, that's going to help too to preserve your furnishings. And then if we're knocking about 50% of total solar energy out, we're going to further move out the fading from happening. So the more light you take out, the more heat you remove from the window, ultimately you're going to preserve your furnishings more. So it just depends on what you are comfortable with having in that space. Okay, but we can certainly help you there, both on the health side and then the furnishing side as well.
Troy, on the health side, a question came in regarding eye health data.
Yes, we can get everyone that UV all the information on that.
And then there was two kind of confirmation questions. One confirming the concept of cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter, and then another question asking for details and elements of the PACE funding program.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and you can get that to them, Tom.
Okay. Then there was a question about multifamily residential use.
Yeah. Have you worked on any of those projects, Paul?
Sure. If they're trying to comply with LL97, generally it's buildings in excess of 25,000 square feet of floor space. Many residential buildings, do fall under that category. But for buildings that are less, you're not facing the penalties under LL97, but you can make the building a lot more comfortable for your tenants. There's a whole security aspect to the film where if you're concerned or your tenants might be concerned on the ground floor or some of the lower floors about bomb blasts, natural gas explosions, car bombs, things like that. Many of these some of the films that 3M has not only the security feature, but it also has the sun and UV feature built into it. So, there's many different films out there to address a wide variety of concerns. And, generally a phone call, some back and forth, a give and take, you may come in with the idea of I want sun reduction, and you may end up walking away with some security film and some sun reduction on top of it. So, please call, please, use our expertise. If we don't answer it, 3M is only a phone call away, and being able to reach out to a Fortune 50 company is a great asset, and being able to have the benefit of the 3M warranty behind the product makes it even better.
So finally, I know we're up against the time clock here, but Tom's contact information is on the screen for you. We will get back to you. All the folks that ask questions, we will look to get back to you and answer those for you. But feel free to reach out to Tom. His email address is there. His phone number is there. And again, TriState Sun Control. They're New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, here to help you. And we're all here to help in any way we can. So thank you all for taking the time. Paul?
Thank you, folks. Thanks for joining. And the information is free. Just call on us, and we're here to help.
And I'll be following up on all the questions.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.